Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Served, brought to you by Ozlo Sleep Buds, of which we are all just massive fans and super well rested. Look at my eyeballs. Look how rested they are. They haven't looked that great since I was a baby. I'm so rested. I feel so rested. Also, like I have some thoughts on the matches today. Obviously, Carlos Alcaraz making final over Daniil Medvedev. Alcaraz he just has so many options and he has so many ways to make adjustments. Ferrero can shout to him, do all of these things, and he's capable of doing all of these things. Like, there are many times where it's like, hey, I know what to do against Roger. I just don't have the physical ability to actually do it consistently. Carlos Alcaraz, I caused everyone to be real pissed off a year ago, and I said he's the most complete player at his age that we've ever seen. Guess what? He's the most complete player at his age that we've ever seen. Now, that doesn't mean that Rafa wasn't great. He's the most dominant on one surface that I've ever seen. But across all types of surfaces, doing the French Open win, Wimbledon final at this young of an age, and we forget that, like, he didn't play great from the end of the U.S. Open last year through Indian Wells this year. Didn't win a tournament. From Wimbledon last year through Indian Wells of this year, did not win a tennis tournament. All that to say, he just was able to problem solve. He can chip when he needs to. Never gotten in any trouble against Medvedev. Medvedev is one of my favorite players. I can't express the amount of respect that I have for what he has gotten from his career. I see chatter where it's like, they like to do this thing where is he already the best guy who's won a slam and not won two? Yes. I think I'm the other name in that conversation, and the answer is yes. He is phenomenal. Beaten top 5 players in slams, been number one himself, won 20 different tournaments. On his weaker surfaces has now figured out a way. I love Daniil Medvedev. Simply, when Carlos Alcaraz is in full flight, he just has more options and can execute on a more powerful scale than Daniil Medvedev. Daniil Medvedev deserves so much respect. Doesn't have the power out of your shoes that Alcaraz has. Doesn't have that explosive movement that Alcaraz has. Doesn't have the ability to switch ball flights like Alcaraz has, and still just gives these guys hell all the time. But Alcaraz, he's a generational talent, and it's weird because that term is kind of getting watered down a bit because we're on the heels of how many generational talents can we have? It feels like we just got through 3 of them. Now we have another one. But he's my favorite player to watch. I couldn't have more respect for what Daniil Medvedev puts out there time after time. And there's 2 things I feel strongly about from this match. 3 things. Alcaraz is going to be an all-time great in this game. And again, we forget that before the big 3, it was like it was an insane thing to say someone was going to win 10 slams. Like, that's more than Agassi, McEnroe, Lendl, Edberg, Becker, the icons of our sport. Basically anyone short of Pete and Borg in the modern era, and then you go back to Laver, Emerson, et cetera, et cetera. But for 30 or 40 years of reality, it was just an insane thing to say someone's going to win double-digit slams. Now, the big 3 have completely reset the deck, but Alcaraz is going to be that guy. He's going to be, I would put, you can't control injuries. You can't control life if something major happens, but he's going to be ahead of like the Vlanders and the McEnroes and the Agassi's and the Connors. And it's just crazy. And he's 20. He's going to be 21. Like, it's a joke. So that's number 1. That's the biggest one. That's the takeaway, is just more adjectives and flattering superlatives for Carlos Alcaraz, and he does it with a smile on his face. It's just, what a gift to the game in this kind of big 3 vacuum, of which Novak Djokovic is still extremely alive. My goodness. But I want to spend 2 seconds on Medvedev. One is funny, and one I kind of got pissed when I read something today on Twitter, and I'm going to try to bring it up. I'm not going to call anyone out by name, but it's just so stupid. Like, let's go with the lighthearted one first. Is Medvedev? So when Medvedev, and I'm gonna go bleep 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 because I don't know. It feels like gratuitous after what I did the other day on our when I got on the Italian one. I cussed a lot on that one, so now I'm gonna just try to course correct. So when you lose, when you're, and I got into it with umpires, I said a lot of things I regret to umpires, not my proudest moments. I still think it's really funny when people fight and argue with umpires. I like it. The Medvedev of things, the way he can stir it up, I'm here for it. I like it. It feels genuine to me. Honey Badger don't give a it. He doesn't care. And I'm always here for it. And also in the same room, right? So nuance, context. This is we're going to attempt it again. When you say F you, F you, F you, you piece of shit to the umpire, when you can say what the F, but as soon as you say F you, you're gone. You're defaulted. Now, I don't care. Like, I'd like to see it. I rarely turn the channel when someone's throwing a tantrum, and none of you do either. You can complain about it on Twitter, but you never change the channel, ever. There's a reason why Kyrgios is a star and he's never won a Grand Slam semifinal. Like, he's entertaining. He's never been top 10, yet he's like still taking pictures with Russell Westbrook when he comes to Wimbledon, right? Like he's still relevant because he's a star. You can't say F you, F you, F you, piece of shit 10 feet from the umpire and not get defaulted by the rules. Now, I'm happy he didn't. I get the context, but this is why tennis, when we go through the rules and there's a lack of understanding, whether it's legal coaching, whether it's this, when you leave it up to judgment and that judgment changes based on the moment, it's kind of a fake rule. Like if he was second round in Miami and says to the umpire 6 feet away, F you, F you, F you, you piece of shit. Gone. Now they get called out at Wimbledon. Tournament referee comes out and goes, oh, man. Oh, but ratings. This is Alcaraz. He's probably pulling a huge number. Novak's knee isn't ready to go yet. He's got to warm it up. I don't know. Let's let it play. I don't care. You guys don't want to default. Let's let it play. F you, F you, F you, piece of shit. No one can ever get defaulted again for saying something to the umpire. Unless they're talking about like their children or saying something just terribly, racist, sexist, whatever. Like you basically can't just cuss to an umpire at them and get defaulted ever again. We've set precedent today. This is going to be so entertaining. I can't wait. I hope Kyrgios comes back now. This is going to be amazing.
Is that like the most egregious no foul, no default thing you can think of in like recent memory? Like that just seems so straightforward, right?
I mean, when we're docking, it's like Serena Williams points in the US Open final for coaching and for when she didn't even cuss at the umpire. Against, you do remember that? Like when she didn't even cuss at the umpire, she just said, you're ridiculous, and she got points. And F you, F you, F you, you piece of shit, gets a warning. It's over. This is going to be amazing television. Your kids might have to wear earmuffs watching Breakfast at Wimbledon now because you literally can't say anything worse than F you, F you, F you, you piece of shit. And not get defaulted. So that's over. That's fun. That precedent's gone. That rule no longer exists, apparently. So great. It's going to be great. We're gonna have a lot of the Fight Club is open. Also, so that's that. That was like, I'm like, okay, well, then we're just cherry picking results from bad behavior. Then, like, if a lot of people are going to lose money in ratings, then it's fine. If like no one's watching and a tree falls in the forest, like you're gone. Anyways. So apparently we can say anything now. Great. I love Medvedev. Couldn't respect him more. Okay. When you're a tennis analyst, like you call yourself a accent to express, like whatever it is, you basically tell people that you know a lot about tennis. And then you say something stupid like this. Daniil Medvedev needs to decide if he is comfortable and content to cash major semifinal paychecks or if he wants to be remembered as a true legend of the game. A very good career, but not a great one if he can't bring home a second major title. Got it. So listen, I know people are going to say you're mad because he's talking to you too. Great. Understood. No problem. Great. Also, shut the fuck up. I'm saving my one for that. I won't call it out by name, but if you think that a player simply goes out there and it's just because like if you think Daniil Medvedev loses matches because he's just comfortable and he gives a shit about the paycheck, you're so stupid. You're so dumb. Like, the guy's been number one in the world. He's the top 1% of the top 1% on earth. You're on Twitter. You're a self-described analyst. Like, why should anyone listen to you? You have zero credentials. You don't understand what he's doing. You don't understand his brilliance. You don't understand his genius. You don't understand that he's overachieved based on natural gifts. He can't hit topspin on a backhand. He's not the fastest guy that's ever lived. He's a brilliant mover. Those are different. He would lose to 3/4 of the tour in a 100-yard dash. Serve is great. Serve is good, not the best. And yet he's number one in the world, has won 20 different tournaments, has beaten 5. Stop. How many Grand Slam finals? Shut up. Oh, he needs to decide if he wants to be great. He is doing what he can to be great, and he is giving it hell. If he's not great, then pretty much no one can be great. You have like 5 or 6 people at any given moment that you consider great. You're an idiot. Just shut up. Saying stupid shit like that on Twitter, just shut up. Moron. All right, I'm going to be in a better mood now. Okay, got that out of my system. Ugh. This was supposed to be a shorter show, but then I got on one. Here we are. Quick serve brought to you by Ozlo Sleep Buds. Apparently, I need to take a nap before these shows to just get a little bit happier. But he needs to decide if he wants to be a champion. Oh, really? The guy who's been number one in the world and won the U.S. Open, he needs to just make it. Oh, it's probably just he's not giving it that good old try? You idiot. He beat the number one player in the world 2 days ago. Shut up. You literally live in your mother's basement. Shut up. Whatever. God. Get out of here.
Yeah, maybe go take a nap and pop in your Ozlo Sleep Buds.
God, it's so annoying.
They have patented noise canceling technology.
You know what we need?
Cancel out the haters.
Correct. We need Ozlo Sleep Buds. This guy needs noise canceling technology. That's what he needs. He needs some sleep buds.
Yeah, he's the worst kind of babbling brook.
And nice one. Well done. and maybe a long, hard look in the mirror. He needs to decide if he wants to be. Shut up, you Twitter guy, you idiot. All right. Sorry. And anyways, I digress. That one pissed me off, though. That's just so stupid.
Let's take a little break. We'll be right back.
All right. I need a break. All right, you chuckers. As you know, I've had my battles with travel messing up my internal clock, but I've found something that really helps. Ozlo Sleep Buds. These bad boys block out snoring bed partners and are way more comfortable than AirPods. Yes, I said it. You can easily side sleep in them. With over 10 hours of battery life, they block out noise like a dream and come with specially designed noise masking tracks to help you sleep soundly. I prefer, that's right, the Babbling Brook. Turn the Bluetooth on. You can stream anything, turn Bluetooth off, and they'll still play those masking sounds. They even have a built-in alarm to wake you up without disturbing your partner. And here's the kicker. In an upcoming update, they'll detect when you've fallen asleep and automatically switch from streaming to noise masking. Plus, full sleep tracking and analysis are coming soon. Right now, you can save up to $120 if you pre-order them through our website, oslosleep.com. Don't you dare miss out, you chuckers. All right, we are back with the Serve Podcast by Ozlo Sleep Buds. I've found my center again. We're fine. I'm calmer.
Olipop.
A little vintage cola. Just kind of, I need to reset level after I was mad. A Twitter guy. Listen, I don't know how to express enough respect for what Novak has done. Having surgery a month ago. Okay. In the same episode, I said all of these reasons why I didn't think him making an extended run at Wimbledon made sense. I was wrong. Also, if anyone had surgery 4 weeks ago, I would feel pretty comfortable betting against them being effective 4 weeks later and in a Grand Slam final. Right after I said that on that show, the part that gets forgotten often, especially with a certain fan base, I said, bet against the greats at your own peril. He is not like us. He is different. I wouldn't have been able to do it. I barely could do it on good legs, make a final of Wimbledon, and in the best of times. I ended up in the Hall of Fame. What he is doing is absurd. And like weirdly predictable at the same time. Like when he starts going after the crowd and Rune and just, kind of kicking the hornet's nest, he's in full flight. This is as focused, as dialed as he's been this entire year. Now, we can talk about Wimbledon and we can give credit and pretend like we all expected this. Let's make this year real quickly, okay? For what he's actually done this year. Better than most of us on a good year. Semis Australia, lucky to win a set against Sinner. He ran him out of the building the first 2 sets. He snuck one out, but it was a pretty straightforward win for Sinner after Sinner had won 2 out of 3 at the end of last year. Okay, great. Level set. Goes to Indian Wells. Loses to a guy ranked 130 in the world. Right? No visible injuries. Didn't look like he had that like angsty chip thing that makes his engine go. Clay court season was like, okay. Like he didn't look great. I mean, semis of Monte-Carlo, but the fitness didn't look like it was there. Breathing heavily. You could see it. It was dramatic. The fitness didn't look like it was there. The drive looked absent. And not absent compared to us chuckers. Absent for what we expect from Novak because of his greatness. Roland Garros, we finally get there. It's like, is he going to turn it around the week before Roland Garros? Enters a tournament, like a panic wild card, which that's for us. That's for the mortals. That's what we do. It's not what he does. Doesn't win that tournament. Goes to Roland Garros. Gets through some 5-setters, but is like compromised physically. Doesn't look like perfect. Pulls out. After coming back, winning a huge 5-setter, pulls out. Surgery the next day. That's not good. You've already been like less than your physical peak. It looks like you're trying to find, I don't know, motivation. It doesn't look like it's, you're in shape. So when you're looking at a knee injury, what's certain is that you're not going to be able to put in the hard yards needed for your fitness to be good when it's already not been great this year compared to your own shadow. Not compared to the rest of us. Compared to your own fitness shadow from the last 12 years. And what the hell does he do? Shows up, knee brace. One day at Wimbledon, he hits some balls. The next day, he plays a practice set, gets through, looks ordinary, loses a set to some guy, second round, and then comes out against Rune, gets chippy, creates this like thing where people are saying Rune and all he hears is boo, makes it a thing, and you're like, oh God, here he goes. This is it. He's found that thing. He's confident enough to find that thing. Straight set win in the semis of Wimbledon. He's in his 10th Wimbledon final. He's in his 37th major final. Mike Hayden, if he somehow pulls this off, is this Novak Djokovic's Jordan flu game?
Jordan flu game. Wow.
That's iconic, right? We all remember that. Hits the shot. We know he was not feeling great. Carrying him off Pippen carrying him off the court. Iconic forever.
It's insane.
Iconic forever. Is this the flu game?
I mean, I think that's a great comparison because I can't think of anything else. I'm in awe of this man's talent but then now I'm even more in awe of his determination and his focus.
I'm simultaneously stunned and also going, of course, though. But of course, right? Like I don't know how those live in the same area, but that's where I'm at. I mean, 10 Wimbledon finals. And by the way, if he wins this tournament, he's tied with Roger Federer for the all-time lead for Wimbledon singles titles on the men's side. He's like, okay, is he the greatest grass courter ever? And does he still have 2 more Wimbledons to play after this? I don't know. It's absurd. It's just crazy. His 37th major final. That's like making every final for 9 years in a row. #math +1. Imagine that. Imagine that. One of my proudest career accomplishments, it sounds like the dumbest thing that's ever been said is being top 10 for close to 10 years. This guy literally made a great, like if you added up his Grand Slam finals and if he did them consecutively, he would have done it for 10 years.
Does this rank
joke.
him as one of the most successful male athletes, period, right? I mean, it's
male, female, anything.
Period.
Anything. Stop. Like over. Great. Like, yes.
It's the most impressive feat of any sportsman.
Your teammates can't bail you out. You can't, like Peyton Manning is one of a partner of mine in a business. The second Super Bowl he won, he had very little to do with. Like his team won that Super Bowl. And now he lost a bunch where he was fantastic and his team wasn't great, many playoff games, but no one can bail you out. No one can bail you out. He can't be effective on a bad knee and add value on a bad knee, hit an open shot on a bad knee. He has to play defense, offense. He can't take plays off.
And now he's a chance of vengeance against Alcaraz, right?
And he's in the Wimbledon final.
It's insane.
It's just absurd. Bet against the greats at your own peril. Apparently, I'm a moron for thinking 4 weeks is a short timeline to make a Wimbledon final post knee surgery. Happy to lay on that. Happy to lay on that sword. No problem. I'll tell you when I think I'm right. I will never have any problem telling you when I'm wrong. The math adds up. No, that timeline's short. He still has fitness. It's been compromised. He hasn't been at his physical peak. He's got to somehow make up that ground and recover from knee surgery. The logic is there. The logic was always there. And we're watching greatness. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how you get over like if you sprain your ankle on a curb because you've had too many drinks, like that's in your head for like a week when you're walking around. Now imagine winning. Now imagine having surgery and getting to a Wimbledon final, and it's not just I don't know.
No, it's insane.
Yeah. It's incredible. I don't know how to make it real. And then sure enough, he goes right back to it and starts. I know the violin is for his daughter, but the boos start, and he walked towards the boos with a violin and started smiling and playing it slower. Like this guy is just, I don't know. He knows where he's comfortable. He knows what he needs. He knows what he needs, and he will find it. He will find it. He will create it. He will do it. It's there right now. We'll do a full men's preview show where we talk about X's and O's tomorrow, but credit where credit's due. Alcaraz is going to be an all-time great. Medvedev is just a winner, and Twitter can suck it. Novak is just maybe the greatest athlete of all time. Like he's getting there. I don't understand it. He's not like us. He's different. But like, it's just props, simply props. Hey, respect.
I'm very excited for this matchup.
You don't always have to agree with everything that everyone does all the time for respect to be the overriding feeling or emotion towards someone.
While we're on this, we had a question from a listener. He had sent in. He said, why are seeds 1 and 3 in the same draw in a major tournament? It seems incorrect, favoring the 2 seed over a 1 seed. Djokovic benefiting from this right now at Wimbledon as a question. And
so the way a draw works, the only 2 seeds that are guaranteed, 1 at top, 2 at bottom, right? Simple. 3 and 4, it's literally random, and that's what makes it fair. You flip a coin, they put it into a little, spits it out, 1 top, 1 bottom. That's it. It's the way it's been since the beginning of time. Otherwise, you would risk, like I remember in the late 80s, the women's side of the game was very predictable. You don't want the same matchups or the potential for the same matchups all the time because that would suck. Fairest way to go about it. Maybe the 4 seed sometimes is better on grass than the 3 seed. There are many, many years where the 3 seed would be a better draw. Like this is the simplest thinking. And then you go seeds 5 through 8. They just randomly get put in. 9 through 16, 17 through 32. Fairest way you could possibly do it. There's a lot of like Casper Ruud being a top 10 seed at Wimbledon. Just because he's ranked higher doesn't mean it's unfair to someone. That's the draw you want at Wimbledon. So sometimes it's fair. You ever heard of the term luck of the draw? That's it. Fairest way you could do it. And also all those blowhards who are saying, well, Novak had such an easy draw. There's literally never been a person in the history of our game who has gone through more brutal draws, more all-time greats at their peak for more successes. Leave that shit to the side. You just don't like him. That's it. You just don't like him. Oh, well, I had knee surgery and I was fine. Yeah, you're like recovery. You're like your Mecca post-surgery is like walking around your neighborhood. Stop. You just don't like him. And that's fine. You don't have to like everyone. But shut it with this easy draw Novak. Like the guy's literally gone through the best generation of all time for the most success that anyone's ever seen in our game. Leave it alone. It's been the same forever. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean that the system is broken. It might mean your opinions are broken. All right. Krejcikova and Paolini. Let's get into this quickly before we head out.
How'd you say her name? Paolini.
I said Paolini. I
know. You did
I know,
it.
but everyone's like, it's Paolini. Shut up. Get over it.
You did
Paolini, whatever.
Wow.
You're fun. You know my stance on that. We talked about this. Never once in my life have I had like a French broadcast say Roddick. They go like why? We're the only people that have to. I'm the only person on earth that has to correct anything.
I'm just saying I'm proud of you. I was just saying I was proud of you.
Thank you. Well, I accept that. But also, like, what? I mean, give it a rest, Twitter guy. So here's how I see this Krejcikova Paolini match. Krejcikova is unreal, probably the most forgotten woman in tennis. Outside of injuries the last 5 years, when she's dialed, she's going to win. She's going to end up winning. I think she had won like 6 matches this year coming into this tournament. Now she has the potential to win 7 in the same tournament for her second Grand Slam, which the first one also came out of nowhere. It's listen, she's not scared of the big stage. I'll tell you that. That matters zero. She's someone that elevates the bigger the circumstances. Beating Ostapenko, Rybakina back-to-back. Absurd. Now, this is different. It's a little bit different. The one thing we have to watch, Krejcikova is a streaky server. If she serves great, she's probably going to win this match. If she doesn't serve great, and if she goes in peaks and valleys, Paolini is just so solid right now. And the other thing is she's had great wins back-to-back, but also similar ball flights that she's been playing against. Ostapenko, hard through the court. You're not getting pulled with angles. You're not getting pulled into the net. You're not getting pulled off to the side of the court. Traffic is running through the middle. Krejcikova doesn't mind that as evidence. She's a great doubles player. Traffic comes through you in doubles, right? She's won, I think, 7-8 million Grand Slams in doubles. She's won Wimbledon twice in doubles. So this court is familiar to her. But the matchup matters. Paolini will present something different that she hasn't had to deal with, at least at an elite level this tournament, right? She may have played someone who's like a not as great version of Paolini somewhere along the way. But Paolini is gonna mix it up. The other thing that is going to be very interesting is Krejcikova returned as well as someone can in her match against Rybakina. But there is a difference in the type of serve you're returning. Some people don't like when speed comes, right? They don't like pace. That bothers them as a returner, right? Krejcikova does not mind pace, right? If you hit it flat through the zone, I liked returning massive servers that where it went straight through and I could just firm it up because I couldn't create speed on my backhand side, right? Krejcikova is amazing at accepting pace, redirecting pace, and using pace to create pace. Paolini is throwing in serves. I promise you I'm not doing this on purpose. God, just get it together. Paolini is throwing in serves at 66 miles an hour, of which Krejcikova is going to have to actually create her own pace. We saw Vekic. She loved that. She wanted to step in. She's old school on that front foot and was just sending second serve returns. Krejcikova doesn't like her swings are great when the pace is provided. When she has to create her own, I think Paolini's going to have some time. You know, I don't think it's as easy as Krejcikova's returned great in her last 2 matches. Therefore, she's going to return great against Paolini. That might happen because she's an elite returner, but it's not as simple as that going, oh, she returned Rybakina's serve great, so Paolini's serve isn't as good, dialed. It's just not that simple. I had more problems with, Fed serving 122 to the corners with the threat of a 96 mile an hour changeup. Agassi, I couldn't figure out where the heck he was serving, and it mixed it up. I like someone who's predictably served bombs, because if I could square it up, I was strong enough to at least, I didn't want to have to create my own pace on a backhand return ever. I suspect Krejcikova is probably the same way. So when she gets into those rallies, she's also, Paolini is going to, hit little chips. She's going to hit some angles. Her forehand is going to not be predictable. Rybakina, if you push her to her forehand side, she's rarely going to go line, right? She distributes it cross court. She's great at it, but it is a little bit more predictable. So I'm curious how Paolini goes about it, right? Like how quickly and often she goes to the off-pace stuff against Krejcikova, because Krejcikova has proven that if you go through the middle of the court, she's happy accepting that offering. So that'll be interesting. And then Krejcikova's serve. Is she going to serve a high percentage of first serves? Great first serve, but she can go through patches where, it kind of goes through dips. I think Paolini is going to be solid throughout the match. I think she's playing great tennis. I don't think either one is going to lay an egg based on the situation. Now there are different feels that first time you're walking out for a Wimbledon final. It's a different walk than any of the other ones. A semi in Australia, a final at US Open. Those are great. There's something extremely humbling and intimidating about the lack of noise when you're walking down that hall towards the biggest match of your career. Curious to see how it goes. I think it's a pick'em. I guess 51% Paolini just based on the last month. I think confidence translates, and I think she has it in bunches. Mike, I didn't even realize this, but Paolini, give me the stat that you were talking about with career prize money, and how this just proves how momentum and confidence works once you get it. If you could sell it, you'd be a gazillionaire.
Yeah, I mean, she's right now career year to date is 5.5 million in prize money. 2.8 of that has come this year, right? And
so
then
she's on the verge of out earning herself in like a 3-month span.
Yeah, and then if she wins tomorrow, if she wins this final, she gets a $2.7 million payout. And so she will,
in addition to, so she will have matched her career earnings and surpassed them in like 3 months.
In 3 months, yeah.
Props. That's why we love it. It's the original reality show. It's unscripted. That's why you get these stories. That's why we love it.
She was ranked outside the top 200 in 2016. She just broke into the top one. Every year she just climbed, fought. It's impressive.
Props. And Krejcikova, listen, she didn't get the credit that Roland Garros. If you win Roland Garros and you win Wimbledon, those are so different, and you have to be so skilled. So would be an amazing story. Obviously, her coach for the younger parts of her career, and I won't spend much time on this. I do think it matters. I don't want to grandstand on this topic because it involves relationships and pain. Jana Novotná was a great player. Almost won Wimbledon in 1994. Was up 4-1 in the third. Famous scene of her crying on the Duchess's shoulder afterwards. I remember watching this when I'm 12 years old. She was one of the ones, and I'm getting goosebumps because I think of her and Ivanisevic, of those of us who tried real hard, and those are two of them that eventually got there at this tournament. Ivanisevic in 2001, Novotná ended up winning in 1998, was Krejcikova's coach for a long time, and she passed away 4 or 5 years ago. So that can work one of two ways, right? You have the ghost of someone you love looking over you. Maybe that provides a sense of calm. She got emotional the other day when asked about it on court. So hopefully she has the tool to at least compartmentalize. But props to her. And I know that has to mean a lot to her personally, as I know that it was the most important tournament to her mentor, her coach, her friend, Jana Novotná. So we are thinking of you, Jana. You're one of the greats. We'll see if your pupil can deliver this tomorrow. I know you'll be watching from up above. Krejcikova, Paolini, breakfast at Wimbledon. This has been served by Ozlo Sleep Buds. Thanks for listening. We'll be back with the full men's final preview, X's and O's, tomorrow. Cheers.